Night shots are a unique challenge in filmmaking. Since you are mostly working with artificial light like street lamps, signs or shop windows, you often get very mixed and unpredicted lighting in your scenes. Professional filmmakers usually bring their own lighting to control the look of every shot. But what if you're filming on the go, run and gun style, with just your own camera and the light that's already there? In that case, it's all about using the right settings to get the most out of your camera, whether you're shooting on a smartphone or something like the Sony Alpha 6700. In this video, I will show you how to film in low light conditions without extra gear and what you need to know to get clean, cinematic footage even in the dark. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. I say it clear, it's definitely not true that every camera gives you the same quality in low light. But with newer smartphones like the iPhone 16 Pro, you can still get good results, if you know how to work with what you've got. Whether you're using a smartphone or a mirrorless camera like the Sony Alpha 6700, the key is to understand your gear. Either you adapt your equipment to your environment, or you adapt your environment to your equipment. And if you know how your camera works, you can get the best out of it, even in tough lighting conditions. Cameras need light to create a clean image. The less light they have, the more they need to guess, which leads to noise, blur or weird colors. Here is how every camera works. It starts with light. The more light is available, the more can enter through the lens. A larger lens can capture more light than a smaller one, and the same goes for the sensor. Smartphones, for example, have tiny lenses and small sensors compared to a full-frame camera. Professional cameras combine both, a bigger lens and a larger sensor, which allows them to expose the image better, even in low-light conditions. Smartphones rely heavily to automatic settings and software. Mirrorless cameras or professional cameras let you manually control the image. So here are some practical tips to both mirrorless cameras and smartphones. Use a wide aperture, for example 1.8 or 2. Increase ISO slightly, but avoid going too high to reduce the noise. Adjust the shutter speed. Too slow means a lot of motion blur. And the last one, set the white balance manually to avoid unnatural colors. Add a light source, for example a portable LED or a desk lamp, for example. Film static scenes. Moving subjects blur more in low light. Avoid zooming. It reduces the quality, especially in dark scenes. And try night mode or HDR if available. If you're using a mirrorless camera like the Sony Alpha 6700 and you're ready to dive a little bit deeper, here are some pro tips that can really improve your low light results. Use the base ISO for the cleanest image. Each camera has a base ISO. This is the ISO value where the image is the cleanest and the camera sensor works best for less grain in the footage. For the Alpha 6700 it is 800 and 2500. In low light, it's tempting to crank the ISO up high. But if you can add light or open up the aperture instead, try to stick to the base ISO for better quality. Change the metering mode to highlights only. By default, the camera might try to balance everything in the frame equally. But if you're shooting in low light with some bright areas like screens or lamps, switching the metering mode to highlights only tells the camera, don't blow out the brightest parts. This gives you more details in these areas, and you can always brighten shadows in post. Aperture. Go wide if it fits to your style. To get the most out of your lens in low light, use a wide aperture, something like 1.8 or 2. A wider aperture lets in more light, which helps brighten up your image without cranking up the ISO. And you will also get the soft cinematic blur, which is called bokeh effect, that gives your footage a more professional look. But there is a trade-off. The wider your aperture, the shallower your depth of field. That means only a small area is in focus, which can be tricky if your subject is moving. So if you're filming people and want to have their full face or body to stay sharp, it's usually safer to stop down a bit. An aperture of 4 or higher is often a good minimum to keep them fully in focus, especially in handheld or tracking shots. So let's break it down again. You don't always need expensive gear. If you understand how light works and how to adapt your scene to your device, whether it's a phone or a camera, you can get great results even in tough lighting conditions. I hope this was helpful, and if you liked this video, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel to don't miss out any of my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.